Are we live, Gangster Ghost?
Yeah.
Well, hello to everybody. This is Big Bad Mama streaming from the Gangster Ghost channel. Everybody should subscribe to Gangster Ghost, of course. And we are here today to talk with Wesley Curry II. So we'll wait a couple minutes to see if Wesley shows up, and we'll go ahead with the interview. But I guess if anyone wants to come on right now and talk to us until that point, please come on and talk to us. Thank you, Logan, for posting the link.
The interview with the Wesley.
So Wesley, if you're out there, we're ready to talk to you.
He said yesterday that. Okay.
Yeah. He said he'd be here. So, but yeah. Until then, come on and talk to us, please. Logan, what have you been up to?
Not so much.
Have you made any videos lately?
Been a little bit.
What was your last one?
Mark of the Stony. Oh, I forgot what else I might have made. Wesley, let's talk about some of your music. Somebody needs to.
Yeah, that's the plan, Billy.
We like to call Wesley. Oh, not mine.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi,
How are you?
Hi. I'm great. I have slept like a thrown away rag in my chair.
Good.
Yeah, it was
In your chair?
Yeah, I accidentally fell asleep and I woke up many hours later, all scrunched up in a corner of my chair, trying to make myself comfortable. It did not work.
Well, it sounds like you got some good sleep.
Yeah, I feel much. I was so tired yesterday in the evening, and I honestly have a bit of a hard time kind of sorting the last couple of days.
Right.
Which is natural when you don't sleep. The memories don't get sorted as they should, and they don't get inserted into the long-term memory like they should. So.
Well, yesterday was a strange day.
Right, wasn't it? It feels. That's the feeling I have. Like, yeah, it was just strange day, and I can't really tell what happened then. Which day? Because yesterday for me was 2 days, 2.5 actually. So, yeah.
I have no idea what that means.
Hello, guys.
Hi, Mr. Logo. Sorry.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, thank you. Hi, Big Bad Mama. Hi, Gangster Ghost. Deviant. Nice to see you.
Great to see you, Mr. Logo.
Mark Stoney claims that sleep is
for bed.
Wait, is that true?
It's wherever you can get it and wherever you feel comfortable.
And I can actually argue that my chair here is also a bed, because I actually slept for 6 months, a bit more than 6 months in it. Though I also started to walk in my sleep, which I haven't done since I was a very small child.
Oh, recently you have?
Yeah, this was like, let's see, when did I get my I was it like 1.5 to 2 years ago. It was
Okay.
before I got my new bed, when my friends heard about
Oh.
I had a
not
friend.
only that I slept in my bed, but that I had started to walk in my sleep and
Mm,
fallen down and
wow.
yep.
Are
I
you
had a
alright?
friend that slept in a tent in his living room with Christmas lights in the tent, and that's how he felt comfortable to sleep.
Oh, but I get this. I for a very, very long time after, like when I was kind of, I had moved out from my parents' home and moved several times. I wanted like create almost like a I wanted the feel of almost being back in the uterus.
Okay. How
Like
did you try to replicate that?
by sort of what's the word, quartering off the bed with drapes and a lot of pillows of different kinds, so I could be there even during the daytime, like build myself into a fortress.
What if I was in one of the other quarters? Would you feel uncomfortable?
It depends on
Deviant.
if you just were there, like appeared from nowhere, I would probably be a bit confused. And I'm glad I've seen your face, so I would know and I would recognize
You'd
your voice.
recognize me. That's good.
Yeah, but I would still be kind of
Probably a
bit,
little angry, actually.
yeah, probably because you would scare me, and that's not good. You should never scare someone with PTSD. That's mean, and I would not expect that from you. So that would kind of, I would be a bit on edge in the
Yeah.
beginning. Definitely.
I'll come
If I
to the
had
door
invited
instead.
you, yeah, please do, and break dooring. I have a safety
I'm
door.
glad we
so
got
you,
this straight before I come visit.
yeah, I know it would be so awkward otherwise.
Claude's
Also,
here.
Have
sorry,
I
baby.
missed Wesley?
Yes, you
Nope.
missed him.
He was here. He said, "No, Claude's not here. I'm out."
Why? Did someone say something? Did we have
No,
like
he
you know?
hasn't.
I
He
thought we
hasn't shown
agreed.
up yet.
He hasn't shown up.
No, but he came on. He came on yesterday and said he would be here, and we did
Yeah.
give him the time, so he can still show up. And if he shows up, I'll ask you good people to leave.
Yes, fair
Of
enough.
course.
Because otherwise it's
You're
going to be
popping
wrecked. I just know it. I just
Yeah,
know
no.
someone will do something stupid.
How likely is it that he will not show up? What's your
It's
guess?
65%.
65.3 versus
Right. Whatever the difference is.
The rest. Big Bad Mama. Big Bad
Yeah.
Mama.
Yes.
I saw your video on the hills, and
Oh.
I thought I saw Noah's Ark shape out of the corner of my eye up there.
It looks exactly like that kind of country, Claude. It
I
looks
thought
like
so, yeah.
Bible country. So, yeah.
I think that's what it was. So I think you have discovered the site of Noah's Ark in the United States, which is really the home of everything.
No,
That's
I
true. That would be a good rumor to spread.
If
I
it was
just
in
realized something.
it would be excuse me. If it was in Texas, it would be a bigger one.
You could already sell pieces of it, right?
Mm.
To the gullible.
Oh, yeah. I'll go out to the desert out here and grab some rocks that look like, wood.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll grab a bunch of petrified wood from out here. I could find a bunch in no time.
Put
I'll
them in
pass
the
it on to-
post. Yeah.
There's actually
Send them-
someone who has that, who is like doing that, right? She worked at DAL, I guess, and she said she has a pickle, and it's just an oval
Right.
stone. It's just she made her own ministry, as far as I know, or something like that. What she thinks is a ministry, whatever that should be, right?
Who
And
is that, Mr. Logo? Do you
I
know?
don't exactly know. It's a lady. The Kent once was portraying her, right, when she left, and she had an oval stone, and she said this is a pickle, but she has not shown that it has anything to do with a pickle at all.
It's a concretion. I've seen a picture. It used to be at Dinosaur Adventureland, and Ken Hovind would put it on his videos as a fossilized pickle. And it's just it looks like a concretion to me, which is, it's not formed like.
I mean, it could be coprolite.
It could be. Yeah. It's definitely, it just doesn't look like a
Yeah.
pickle, but there are things
If
that
it's
get,
some sort of
there's
But
things that
you
get
know what
mineral
coprolites
deposits
are,
around
right?
them quickly. Yeah.
yeah, good.
Coprolite's a fossilized species.
Yeah,
You can get like around a heavy mineralized spring and something falls in there, you can get deposits build up around that quickly. And Kent had several of those, and he called them fossils, but actually it's just precipitation along the whatever object you've put in that.
That is essentially what that channel, the guy who
Mud
thinks
fossil?
everything is mud fossil, what he's portraying, right? Just because it looks remotely like, therefore it is, right? So he claimed that meteorites are hearts, and all this is all blood, and these are stakes, and the cave is, which is essentially from salt, right? Because it's like pink, because maybe of little iron, and then all it looks like flesh, like meat, and therefore it's meat. Right. And then once on his channel, I wrote, so then by your standard, on that planetoid Pluto, there was Pluto living from Mickey Mouse, because there's an imprint of that looks exactly like Pluto. So he must have lived there. And at that point, he was kind of triggered and partially blocked me, I think, or something like that.
Did he actually engage with you on that topic?
To a degree, yes, but he was like, I think he blocked me, or I don't know. He seemed like upset about it, because I then asked, when will you find Mickey and other Goofy and stuff? I mean, his tooth is so like, right, you could shoehorn that right in. That, there's this the remains of Goofy, and he was a giant. Right?
I heard Mud Fossil say one time that like these lakes in Africa were a giant being. There were these red lakes in Africa, and they somehow formed this giant organism.
yeah.
It was just so bizarre. I watch that guy's channels now and again. I mean, the guy's videos. I mean, they are kind of entertaining.
Yeah, and he has
yeah.
190,000 subscribers, right? And they are all fabbing on him. Fab,
But
fab. Right?
Are you sure?
Well, he has people in the comments that are like supporting his hypotheses. Mr. Logo.
Oh,
Mr.
yes,
Logo.
big part. Yes, a big part. Hello?
Yeah.
We hear you.
Yes, a big part of them are like, I wonder why. And Sir Sick, that channel also made a video about that, and was surprised that there are. I think it's like a will of people an inclination of people to willingly portray false things, right? For either comedy reasons or for willingly to willingly believe something that is not essentially true, right?
Hovindism.
Oh, wait. What happened, Gangster Ghost?
Nothing. If you like pickles, then you need to go to come on down to cellar.
cellar.
I got A whole freeze.
Freezer full of pickles.
I like pickles. I like. Oh, sorry.
Sing it. Sing it.
I remember seeing that from this old movie I watched as a kid. Spanking Again. You ever
But
seen that
it?
movie?
Oh, what was it called?
Spanky the Gang.
No.
It's like the movie version of our gang. Our gang.
Okay. Spanky and Our Gang,
Yeah.
from the 30s.
Yeah, they made a movie of it in the 90s. I remember
Oh,
watching it.
okay. I didn't know that.
Mr. Logo.
Oh gosh, Mark Stoney is getting out of hand. Don't even repeat that. In fact, I would take the chat off of your video.
Mr. Logo.
Yes.
Yeah. You said they were fapping him. Are you sure?
Maybe I misspoke that. I don't know what's that word. I'm sometimes out.
Well,
of
it's what guys like to do with their junk
Yes.
when they don't have other.
Yeah,
things
essentially that's what they are doing there, right? And it's
Logo knew
awful.
exactly what he was talking about.
It's awful, right? Because it's like all saying, "Oh yeah, it's so great," and I also see that, and I thought, "What the hell?"
I still
Oh.
think, and I think I have to think that for my own sanity's sake, and to not just go and find the largest button I can and press it and hope for the best. That it has to be some. There can't be that many people who believes in mud fossils. It has to be a large portion of them who are just making fun of him by pretending to, like, egging him on.
Well,
I have to believe that.
I guess I would counter that with, do you think there's a lot of people that believe literally in Noah's Ark?
I mean, I know there are, but I also know that there is the world's largest religion in the background. But mud fossils that's his own idea. He's one guy.
That's
How
true.
can-
I mean,
Yeah, and he's only on YouTube. So how can so many people be like, oh yeah, this is it? I don't know. Maybe, but I feel my brain is happier when I don't think people are quite that delusional and easy to.
well, have you been to the United States?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I want to go
I
in
would
a way,
say-
but in another.
You're like from this progressive country, and you just don't know what it's like. Here, there are a lot of people that believe a lot of strange things here.
I've started to notice since I jumped off of most. I'm kind of starting to get back into it, but I quit all news, Swedish news.
That's good. Yeah, take a news fast.
Yeah, and this
Depressing.
was around the time of the 2016 election. So I started to get really into American politics and overall, the climate more from another perspective. And sure, watching YouTube videos or documentaries that are made in the US, but that's not the same thing. Like, study people more intensely and how they think. And
Were you Were you interested in our politics because of the cultish nature of it
Yeah, and
back in
I mean,
2016?
mhm. It started. It started with like uh, just. It started to pop up on other channels that usually talk about uh, cults and cults basically. And then I kind of got, and eventually I realized that because it was easier to be like horrified, but then be able to just let it fall off you. When it's in Sweden, it's not as easy to let it fall. It festers in you, the frustration and the horror of it all. But when it's so far away, but then you start to get to know people like you guys, for instance. And it's not as easy anymore. And things become worse and worse and worse. And you see all of the signs, all of how easily things could go south so quickly. And
Right.
that's
I
kind of
mean,
scary from a nation that's so big and has so much influence over the rest of the world as the US has. Then you're kind of shitting serpentines. I'm sorry.
yeah, that's what worries me about the doomsday cults,
Yeah,
like Kent Hovind's, for example. When you get large groups of people like that who basically are saying they have nothing to live for and
exactly.
they want the end of the world, and with it, the end of everybody else that doesn't believe like they do. And
Yeah.
um,
And this
what a way to
finite,
go through life.
exactly. It's you create, and when that becomes normalized in a way, I'm not saying normalized like the majority buys into it necessarily, but normalized that it's not presented to the world as something out of the ordinary, something worrisome, but something out of the ordinary. It just
Father Charles?
starts to
Sorry.
Hi, Father Charles.
what? Oh, hi, Father Charles. Chuck.
Hi, hello.
Are you there, Father Charles?
He is my black hole, the black hole I used to be.
Oh no. Uh,
Well, at least there are people that are standing up against that doomsday
Yeah.
mentality. I mean, and we're some of them, some of the
Yeah.
people in our community do that. That's one of the things one of my gripes against Ken Hovind is that very thing. I just think it's a horrible thing to tell people every day, knowing that they're hanging on your every word, and you're telling them that you're in the middle of the tribulation
Yeah.
and that the world's going to end every day.
But
Yeah, and you have this from all sides. This is one reason why I know there are people who are sane and rational who still thinks it's a good idea, but who thinks I'm wrong in this. But I really, really, really believe that the United States needs to quit this whole homeschooling madness.
So do I. But of
Because
course,
that's
if let me just add this, if that's proposed by somebody, then all of a sudden it's big government trying to impose its views on the American people, and that's how it's spun. But I agree with you. There should be some standardized education. Now I think homeschoolers have to pass certain tests, but
that's a
that's
lot of them
math,
don't.
and I don't think that covers probably basic biology or
And also,
science in general.
if you have like you need to pass this math test, yeah, that's good and all, but it says nothing about what it only tells you that, okay, they have at least they can add up when they go and buy milk and bread at the store. They can add up how much it will cost. It says nothing about what's happening the rest of the time during the homeschooling sessions. Are there homeschooling sessions? I mean, I know that children in the US.
Sorry, someone had to leave because I think someone's trying to join.
Who's trying to join?
I'm not sure. It could be Wesley.
It could be Wesley. Could somebody?
Okay. I will leave, and that
Sorry.
will help them.
Sorry, Claude,
Sorry about that.
but it's great to see you.
Okay, try
That's all
again,
right.
whoever.
I'm waiting.
Hello? Who tried join? Come in again.
Hopefully, it's our special guest.
Yeah.
Come in again, my friend. Oh,
Logan keeps my heart jumps whenever he exclaims. Is it our special guest?
I don't know. No one trying to join yet.
What are you doing, Logan?
I don't know.
He's trying to get the special guest to join.
Oh,
I don't know what he's
see.
doing.
Come on. Who tried to join? Join again.
But Deviant, we can keep chatting if you want.
Yeah.
Mr. Logo, I think you wanted to say something at some point.
What do you want to say, Mr. Logo?
I lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. I
Sorry.
will find it again.
Good.
Sorry.
But I think we were talking about homeschooling.
Yeah,
And
and
Deviant, what I think you were getting at is like, we don't know beyond the basics what they're being taught. And I think what's missing oftentimes is critical thinking is not taught.
Yes,
100%. And I think that's one of the most important things you can teach a child,
yes.
rather than just straight memorization of
Yeah,
the facts you
memorization
want them.
is kind of pointless, especially today when you have the ability to Google. But if you Google without being conscious about source criticism and rational thinking, then you're kind of doomed. And also there's another aspect of homeschooling, which is, as you all know, I'm very into, it sounds so bad to say it because it's the opposite of what it sounds like. Very into Scientology, which doesn't, yeah, you all know that I'm not a Scientologist. Yeah. I think I'm pretty sure.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah. And I know that the US has laws that says children needs to go in, be schooled, even though they can be homeschooled, but they need to get an education up to a certain age. I don't know if it's 16 or something like that. I know that's a law in the US. And still, thanks to, or rather because of, things like the ability to homeschool, 12-year-olds, 11-year-olds, 10-year-olds, even younger than that, Scientology kids are working within Scientology and are not given an education whatsoever. They and that's just one example. There are also people who kind of live. I mean, here in Sweden, you can't really live off the grid because the way our country is, the geography of it, it's hard to be out somewhere where you're not among people, and the places that are kind of remote are still, it's not like the US with deserts and
Didn't
Oh?
you used to be a Scientologist? Scientologist?
no. No.
That what
No.
Eric asked.
Yeah. No, I've never been a Scientologist. I got hooked into following them from another perspective, study them, because they are the ultimate of cults. I think it was Stephen Hassan who's a cult expert, a doctor in whatever subject. I think it's psychology. I don't know. He's an expert on cults, and he has a PhD. He said that while most cults uses somewhere between like 2 to 5 different techniques of manipulation and what's the word? Brainwashing, as it's called in.
Indoctrination.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
That's the actual word I was searching for.
That is the BITE model, right?
Yeah.
BITE.
Right.
These are the shortcuts.
Dan.
Mhm.
Hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Hey guys, just having
Hi, Dan.
breakfast, so figured I'd jump in because about the whole doomsday thing.
Wait,
And
wait.
oh sure.
Can I just finish the sentence? I promise I won't just.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Hi everybody. Sorry. Finish. Excuse me.
It's okay. It's okay. No. What? But why did he go?
Yeah, Dan, you can come back.
Yeah, I didn't mean. I just wanted to
Go ahead. Keep talking,
Okay.
Vivian.
Yeah, the 12. Between 2 to 5 techniques of indoctrination, of which there are, I don't know, a couple of hundreds, let's say. I have the number 2,000 in the back of my head, but I know that's not true because it's way too.
Mr. Logo, someone else is trying to join.
Okay, I will jump out. Okay, see you guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay, Mr. Logo, hang out though and come back if it doesn't pan out.
Bye.
Sorry about that. Someone's trying to join. Who's trying to join? Who's trying to join? Who's trying to join?
Scientology uses
You're freaking
all
me
of
out,
them.
Logan.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Who's trying to
Well, and I'll be quick too. Sorry, I hit the leave button instead of mute that last time. So the whole doomsday thing, and again, it's mind frames are so interesting to me. So like right now, world events. I am a member of I'm a citizen of the United States of America who could buy ourselves doomsday of the whole planet. And it's just interesting, though, that I, talking about the election 2016, I've never liked Donald Trump, but he got on there going, get out of wars, stop bombing people. At that time, Hillary Clinton, during before the election, Obama administration, they were sending warships to Syria. And
Well,
so,
Obama got us out of Iraq, if you don't remember.
well, but he didn't.
He didn't get us into Iraq like George W. Bush did. So,
Oh, I agree. No, I'm politics wise.
And Biden got us out of Afghanistan, if you recall. It wasn't Donald Trump.
We can debate those because it is him that is spending limitless checks on some guys. I think 2 thugs kind of east of you there, I think. So we don't get specific. But on that,
Fire truck.
we are, as the United States, giving unaccountable checks to a little thug dude over there. I call them both thugs. I don't want to get specific and with the politics, but I am thinking that we're poking a guy that could by himself destroy the world. I guess I can say names and stuff. Putin.
Yeah.
Putin, yeah. And then, so if I say anything like, whoa, shouldn't we be accountable on how many billions of dollars are going to Ukraine that they don't account for? I'm called a Putin sympathizer. And so you can see that to me is much bigger than like, and Kent Hovind is small. There's other Christian religious organizations that are trying to support Israel and all this stuff, seeing that the end is coming. We all humans believe end is coming and might think it's 1 billion years. One day in the future, civilization, human life will end. But and I hope it's thousands of years away myself. But it's funny that you guys, and then that was you big bad mama, is like you're here, calling against that. But at the same time,
what was I calling against?
Doomsday and the end of the world people.
Oh, yeah. Who would call for it? I mean,
well, I'm thinking just the whole, backing, endless dollars, endless support. And I know Europe's doing the same thing with no accountability. We're sending billions of dollars to Ukraine.
But what does this have to do with signs of the world ending?
Yeah.
I mean,
because,
do you think the world was in better shape during World War II?
No, I think he's talking about
nuclear devastation.
Nuclear devastation. Well, we've had that for decades, and that is a threat to us all.
Are you talking about those guys attacking Israel? Because I always heard people say that's a sign of the end of the times.
Yeah, so I'm not kind of in that stuff, but I'm saying our biggest threat right now is not Kent Hovind thinking there's a doomsday, but the United States poking Russia, calling for Putin's ouster. We had
you need to understand that there can be multiple issues in the world that you want to put an end to. So us wanting and being conscious about the dangers of doomsday mentality doesn't change anything about our stance toward other issues. It's not like I can only care about this one issue, and the same goes for all of us. So I don't really see the connect there. I'm sorry.
I see. Yeah, exactly. I'm a multifaceted person, and so I'm worried about environmental degradation, probably most of all. Global environmental degradation. We're already seeing its effects, and that's the biggest issue. Local wars. I mean, Putin invaded Ukraine and he bombed the entire country. He didn't just invade the territories that were adjacent to Russia, for one thing. I'm not saying that that was right, but he's bombing the entire country. And he started it, he started that.
Killing
And
and
so that's just one
torturing
issue.
civilians.
Right. And as
Okay,
Deviant's
so
saying, we can worry about a lot of issues that are going on. And the doomsday mentality in the United States is a very important issue because a substantial percentage of the population believes in a literal interpretation of the Bible.
okay, so but do you see that really as an imminent threat?
Yeah, because they
Well, how
continually
are they?
want to get it into our government, and they're electing our president.
Okay, and
Because
so
they're a very vocal. I have to give them credit in terms of their politics because they're very vocal and they're very they're out there politically, unlike a lot of progressives. So yes, I think it's a very important issue because the person who is in charge in the United States does have an impact on the rest of the world. And
Yep.
I wish it wasn't that way, but it is that way.
okay, so do you think then that part of this whole thing of poking at Putin is then right-wing doomsday? Because some people are calling for nuclear devastation in the Muslim world and in some Christian belief systems. So do you think, because to me it's like tomorrow Putin can go, okay, I'm going to go down, I'm going to take the world with me, and we are gone. But you're saying the threat of Christian doomsdayers is that they might be in charge of Biden poking at.
No,
No.
not at all. Not at all. I mean, first of all, I think we both know, I'm speaking for you, Big Bad Mama, but you can,
Sure.
I can exclude you if you just whack me over the head. We were more talking in the damage it does to people, not
Exactly.
necessarily to the entire world, but that is actually harmful, especially to children, because they will have, their brains are still forming. The brain doesn't continue its development until you are in your mid-20s and thereafter. So around 27 years of age, your brain is fully developed. And the younger you are, getting this into your head every single day and nothing else, because you are homeschooled or you go to a school that teaches this and only this, and you get it from everyone who has authority over you or who are people that you look up to tell this to you. It actually changes how the brain works, and it is dangerous. People not only suffer psychologically, but you also create people who has a very skewed mindset. And in that sense, it can develop into something extremely scary in the end. But as I said, what we were talking about was primarily the damage it does to the individual.
Especially the children. And it's psychological damage that is very hard to undo later in your life. It's pessimism, and it does lead to a change in brain chemistry in individuals. And it's individuals multiplied by millions. And so it affects every aspect of that person's life when you believe that the earth is going to end soon. And why would you even care about environmental issues in that case, for example? Or why wouldn't you
getting an
just
education, saving for
right?
retirement?
Right. I mean, you have no. What's that, Logan?
Oh,
Oh, that's okay. Logan's talking to somebody.
let me ask you. Have you heard what Kent says about? He said that he said these one guys want to make the world population down to 1 billion, I guess.
It was 500 million, I think, was the number, and that was the number that was put onto whatever that stone statue was in, I think, Georgia, that was destroyed.
Yeah.
It was just one guy's vision, but Kent Kent portrays it as there's a lot of people that are pushing for that, like almost like people that push for that want some sort of a genocide of all the rest of the
Oh, yeah.
people.
He said,
And
oh, sorry. He said guys like Ted Turner said we need to get our what's it called, amount of people down. He said, you
well,
go
I think
first.
that's true. But I think, but it can occur naturally without any sort of violence or anything like that. I mean, it already is happening in many countries. The birth rate is going down because of several reasons. I mean, economic reasons for the parents.
I mean, we're not really in a deficit of people on Earth. It won't be an issue for a very long time.
Well, oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, go on.
Oh,
Good.
just correct me if I'm wrong, though, that the
Well,
in-
statisticians say China will be done in 40 years because of their previous birth rate policies.
Who?
China,
Oh, China.
What will they be?
they'll be done in 40 years.
What does done mean?
Yeah, what does done mean?
They won't be able to exist.
That's
because-
bullshit. That's bullshit.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't believe that.
I'm not saying these are facts, guys. I'm telling you what people say.
You said statisticians, so that implies that they are some kind of expert scientists who study this.
well, I think what they're saying is that, and I heard that from Science Things, that if China doesn't change, there's going to be so many old folks that the young folks are not going to be able, there wouldn't be a big enough population of the young people to take care of the old folks, and then something's going to implode. Although China right now is reversing that, or I've
Exactly.
on that. But my thought was that I think, and you can correct me, you probably know this, the birth rates of the more affluent and not intelligent, more college educated, more educated people are going down even below sustainable levels. But say like in other countries, the poorer countries, the Muslim countries, actually, there are preachers that say, hey, let's keep multiplying so we take over the democratically take over stuff. So have you heard that one?
Yes, and I also know that there are many preachers in the US. I'm talking about the US because that's when it comes to this kind of thing, that's the only reference point I have. So it's not to point to you specifically.
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can hear you.
Okay, time
I
is
wasn't
Time
talking
out.
about preachers, though. I was talking about
Yeah, I know.
legitimate statisticians.
I'm adding. I'm
The
adding. to
CCP.
what
Let's
Dan
talk
said.
about the CCP.
Wait, please. I'm adding to what Dan just said about fuck, I lost my train of thought.
Right.
We talked about
Oh, I'm
help-
chomping at the bit. I'm sorry.
That's all right. We forgive you.
help me
Yeah,
Dan
you
or
need help.
BPM.
What's that?
Well,
Yeah,
you're trying to answer.
Yeah, right. You said Muslim countries with preachers or imams urging people to multiply, and you
why
talked
did I
about
lose audio?
people, the issue of people not getting an education. So I just wanted to point to the fact that there is a movement of what's the word? Not encourage, the opposite of encourage.
Discourage.
Discourage. Thank you. I don't know what happened. Anyway, to discourage from higher education, allowing your kids higher education. A portion of the population who listen to these people, preachers and ministers, or whatever they are called, pastors. I don't really know the difference, to be honest. I know the difference for priests, but anyway. So if I were in the US, then I would look to try and counter that rather than worrying about. And I know I'm kind of contradicting myself, because I said earlier that you can have multiple issues and be concerned about them at the same time. And I'm not withdrawing that statement, but rather, if there is something that I could have an effect on, I would.
I'll say one more thing, and then I'll give it to you, Mark. But the education of children you guys brought up, and I would say that the educating in the United States of that there is no absolute moral things. It's all society, and if you want to change that, you can be part of the spearhead and do what you want. And so that to me is a bigger danger, but that we can debate forever. But Mark, what were you going to say?
Okay.
I'm sorry, I was rambling there, Mark.
The CCP. What you said, Dan, or actually it was Chuck that brought up the CCP, and I don't remember exactly the article you're referencing, but I read it too, and they are in serious trouble in a number of ways. Number one, all their economy is based on exports. Like, they are the world's largest exporter of goods. They are not self-sustainable when it comes to agriculture. It is absolutely impossible for China to survive without steady imports of food and energy. It is absolutely impossible for China to exist without these things. Take into account the geopolitical status of the world. Russia's invaded Ukraine. Why? It's stupid. It's the dumbest reason ever. It's Putin's thing. China, the CCP, and every single Chinese citizen is 100% in agreement that, well, I'm using hyperbole because there are outliers, but by and large, they're in agreement that Taiwan belongs to China. Taiwan's in a precarious situation. China is in a much more dire state, because if China decides to invade Taiwan, what's going to happen? Sanctions, food, famine, shortages. They will not be able to feed their armies, let alone their population. China cannot afford to screw up at this point, because they're becoming too large to fail. And we talked about that on a previous stream today. You know what that means. They will collapse. This is imperative that we understand. China is critical to the world economy. There's no denying that. But if the world economy agrees that what China may or may not do, and this is hypothetical, but it's not implausible by any means. If China decides to follow Russia's footsteps and invade Taiwan, they will be sanctioned. And that's all it's going to take. China will crumble within a decade. 40 years is a conservative estimate. It's no joke. This is serious, like, scary geopolitical stuff. And I'm not trying to be like doomsday, or I don't believe in any of that. I believe we can fix this. I really do. Diplomacy works, but it has to be taken seriously, and especially in the light of eschatology. And you mentioned it. You all mentioned it. This doomsday stuff is not healthy for anybody. It puts people in this mindset that we can't change anything, but we can. We can affect the world that we live in. Get involved. Like, learn something. Read a book and, like, understand how the world works. Because if we just let it go, it's not going to be a fun time. we're not going to enjoy this, but we can, and there's plenty of people who do this, both sides of the political spectrum, both sides of the theology and the worldviews and all that religion stuff. Everybody wants a good, comfortable life. Everybody wants security. Everybody wants safety. Like, that is a common desire for all of us. But if the world's leading, like, biggest exporter of goods, like this real, if they go down, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be a fun time at all for anybody. I mean,
Right.
these are serious implications that need to be discussed. I mean, I know you guys don't like talking about politics, but, you know, turn off the news and read stuff. Like, actually pay attention to what's going on, because a lot of these news, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, they have agendas. They're going to give you one side of the story, but if you're not actually digging into what's really going on, reading statistics, like watching real life scenarios play out, you're not going to get it, and you're just going to watch it burn. I mean, please, this is our world. We got to take care of it.
Yeah.
Who
No, and
else is going to do it? If not us, who? Right?
Well, and that's the fun thing to look at, because you look at China, and to me, it's just a big old mafia power. Not that the United States isn't, or any other. By using
China is, I know for a fact, on the top 3 of the world's leading polluters of the environment. That's true.
That is true, and so, but
It's
problem
true,
is,
but they're
is
also
that-
on the other side of that. I wasn't finished. On the other side of
Oh.
that, they're also the biggest abuser of free speech. Like, China's huge, and they're fascist essentially, in that they do not allow free speech. Nothing of any kind of information does not pass through the CCP's filter of propaganda. But
Yeah,
the rest
that's
of the rest of the world has to take note. This is a big deal. This is an issue.
Well, they do, but the problem is that China's tactics, which is not a lot of countries do it. You know, you had the now president's son fly over on Air Force 2 and come away with.
Oh my goodness, who
No,
cares
I'm
about
serious.
Hunter Biden? Yeah, they're corrupt. Like, it's corrupt everywhere. Look
No,
at
what I'm saying
Ukraine.
is
Like,
that
I support
you're-
Ukraine, I really do, but they're corrupt as. I'm not going to say the word.
My
But
that
you
doesn't mean
know
they
what I-
needed to be. That
you
doesn't
know what I
mean
was going to
they
say.
needed
No,
to
no,
be
you're right.
invaded.
You're right. I agree with you 100%. And a lot of that corruption is due to some of the dealings they've had with prominent families in the U.S. That's been borne out in evidence.
No, my
Like,
point
that's
is
not even up for debate. But
Yeah, my
corruption
point
exists
is-
everywhere, and it's not going to get rooted out unless we stand up and stare it
Right.
down and put it in its place. Like, that's our
Yep.
job. That's our responsibility. We live here. If not us, then who?
Well, my point is, though, that and go farther, is it's got the leading Republicans family owning ships and a contract with China, billions and billions of dollars. The problem is that to have the United States stand up to China, you're cutting the billions of
Yeah,
dollars.
let me
in-
let me jump
And
in
George
here.
Herschel
Let me jump in here.
Bush
Let me jump in
financed
here.
the Nazis. Go ahead.
Mark, let me jump in here.
Go ahead.
China is our biggest trading partner,
Right.
but the people on the right, especially the media, are painting them, just like Dan is saying, as our enemy.
No, they're not.
And they're not our enemy.
No. They're in trouble.
They
need our help.
They're a huge trade partner of ours, and we both need each other.
Exactly.
To tell you the truth.
Exactly.
And yet, here we are hearing from Dan, who I expect is probably pretty far to the right, trying to portray China as our enemy. And that's where the danger comes, when you have the media pushing that, and you have tens of millions of people believing that China is our enemy. Then, of course, where does that lead? It's just the next line of people that they have to prop up as the United States enemy, from the Soviets to terrorists. Now it's China.
And
It's
Putin.
fear
There's
mongering.
always-
It's fear mongering.
fear-mongering.
And it's propaganda.
And-
Don't buy it.
Right.
Now, you think
Right.
China
Go
is
ahead, Mark.
actually our friend? Now, their
Yes.
trading partner. You
That's a friend.
Yeah.
Dan, it's all about money, bro.
Yeah. I mean,
And
look at it.
China
It's
loves
money.
us. We still run the biggest economy in the world.
China
If
has the
China-
most billionaires per, like, capita than any other country. Like
Right. But
they're
I'm
not.
saying they
They're
like to tap
this is a
in. They
a
like to
communist
tap
country.
into our economy, make them rich. So
This is
yeah,
a
they're our friends.
this is a communist dictatorship that has more billionaires than any other country on the planet. If that doesn't reek of corruption, dude, wake up and smell the rotten roses. It's
Oh no,
there. It's
corruption's
obvious.
all over. So, but you think that
Yeah, the whole
you know, we
world,
had
all of creation is corrupted. That's
correct.
that's where we're at, Dan.
We're agreeing, but like
But we're
so.
the stewards of this planet. It's our job to fix it. We can't just sit by the wayside and say, "Oh, it's all going to shit. Might as well dig a bunker and spend all my retirement on survival food." No,
I guess so.
contribute, make a
So
difference.
part of where I'm coming from is that I was in the generation Cold War. You know, now coming out is like, yeah, with Kennedy, it was like,
Me and you
I
both,
mean,
Dan.
it was
Me and you both.
it was monthly. Within months, a nuclear war could have happened.
But it
Yeah.
didn't.
Was with the Cuban things.
Yeah.
You and
If
me,
it's
Chuck, we
and
were
butts
hiding
were
under our
candy
desks.
and nuts, I could drive you all the way to. I'm not gonna curse. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I'm passionate about this stuff because this
The
ties in with
missiles
my
of October,
eschatology.
Dan. The missiles
It really
of
does.
October.
I can't stand by the wayside and listen to people watch the world burn and enjoy it and grin and laugh about it when they're confronted with facts. Like I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about these crazy preachers that push this crap. It's nonsense. Like we have to stand up for what's right. We can't just let this stuff happen.
Mark.
We have
Well, true,
responsibilities.
but
We're
we
the
had the
stewards
thing.
of this world. Did God not give us dominion? Did God not say, be fruitful and multiply and subdue the earth? That's our job. We have dominion over this planet. It's our responsibility. We are the stewards. We have to fix this. We don't have a choice.
Yeah. So my thing is like history, though. So we almost did end the world during
Ifs and
during
nuts
that, and
and
so, but we
candy
had
or
people back
butts.
then that it was like Soviet Union's just our friend. It's United States that is causing the trouble, which we cause trouble. But no, now we know with the Soviet Union going down is that they did want world domination.
Dan, do
And
we live in a
so-
corrupt world? Is creation corrupt from the fall? Yes or no? Simple
Oh, I
question.
believe so.
Absolutely, it is.
Saying we're
We
arguing.
expect that at every step along the way, okay? But we can argue ifs and buts. It doesn't matter. We are where we are now. We can learn from the past, move forward, making better decisions that will make the world a better place for our children, our grandchildren, and on down the line. Okay, we have that responsibility. The man that does not provide for his household is worse than an infidel. That's scripture.
Well, that's
This
a
is
house.
serious.
That's not the country. But my thing is the history. I mean, I love history. So those people that were saying that
Obviously.
Soviet Union was our friend, they were wrong. That's my point. Is like,
Dude,
I
you're
don't
framing
think-
that in the total wrong mindset. There are
Yeah.
friends, there are neighbors, there are family. We're humans. Just
No,
because
that's-
corrupt people have this power trip and think that they can rule us, that doesn't make it so. We the people have the power, okay? We can't let dipshits like Putin act like he's got the big dick in the room and just bully everybody. I'm sorry, that's not the way the world works. Might does not make right. The pen is mightier. That's a fact. Stand up for what's right, dude. Stand up for what you
Exactly.
believe in.
that's what I'm trying to. So, I mean, one point we can
Or
probably
Ken Hovind for that
we can
matter.
Right.
we can agree on this.
I got to take a break, so you guys
Guys,
take
sorry,
it.
Mark.
And actually, I'm probably just gonna step off because I'm passionate about this stuff.
Yeah, one question, Mark.
I did
before
get
you
some
go.
sleep, but I'm running on edge. So
One
Sorry.
question, Mark, before you
yeah,
go.
Go get some sleep,
One more
Mark.
question, then I'm just gonna
Okay.
listen and
So
check
can we
out.
agree, though, that the billions of dollars going to Ukraine should be accounted for?
Oh, absolutely,
Okay, thank you.
absolutely.
That's
But that's a minor point, man. That is such a minor point. Like that's a given. Corruption is here. We have to deal with that. Yes, we have to account for that. But that's a minor point. The bigger picture is we have a responsibility to speak out against what is wrong. Okay, corruption, the money, whatever. The love of money is the root of all evil. But the bigger picture is there are murderous psychopaths in positions of power that should not be there. And with that, I'm gonna go and just chill out and hear you guys take this from
Do
here.
it.
We'll talk later
I
on
love
that.
you
So,
guys, and
Yeah,
Love
Mark.
you,
Love
Mark.
you.
Thank you, Mark, for
take
coming
care.
You're the
on.
best.
Big Bad Mama
Cortez.
and Deviant, can we agree on that? That
That the money should be accounted for.
correct.
Big Bad
Yes.
Mama. I think Dan was trying to make a point in history. Me and him were what, 3 and 4 years old during the missiles of October. When the
Correct.
Soviet
Right.
And in school we were, and you were probably doing the same thing. You have the whistles go off, everybody under your desk.
Right.
You know, people doing bomb shelters, because it was a real fact of life.
We lived through the Cold War, and I'm sure you did.
Yeah, yeah.
Big Bad Mama.
Big Bad Mama
Yeah, for
did
part
too,
of
and
it.
so did I.
Oh,
So
Okay.
our situation is very different because I'm not in the US.
So
But who was to blame for the missiles in October?
I'll let you.
Dan.
I'll let you answer that one.
Dan, well, you can answer it.
Go ahead, Dan.
Okay, specifically, who was? Now, are we talking about the missiles going?
Well, who
to
started
Cuba?
the aggression toward who?
No, that was the Soviet Union after World War II, taking over countries to buffet themselves from the
Dan, he
West.
said, Dan, Big Bad Mama.
I
set
mean
you
that
up.
particular
It
incident.
was the Bay of Pigs, but
Yeah, the Cuban.
yeah, the Bay of Pigs. We paid people to invade Cuba, and of course, the United States was behind that. Cuba asked that the Soviet Union come and help them. So Big Bad Mama's making the point, I think, Big Bad Mama, that the United States started all this with the Bay of Pigs.
Oh, and further.
Well, I would go even further than that, Charles. And I would say that us putting nuclear warheads in Turkey on the border with the Soviet Union was a big part of it,
Right,
because
right.
it was basically doing what the Soviets then tried to do to us, was to put nuclear warheads in Cuba very close to our border. But we had done that first in the 50s, and I believe it was under Dwight Eisenhower.
Yes, it was.
We put nuclear warheads right on the border of Turkey. And so when somebody points to Khrushchev doing this out of the blue, this wasn't done out of the blue. There was a real threat to the Soviet Union at that time.
Right.
Oh, correct. Yeah, but but then let's go a little farther. Why did the United States do that? Didn't? And you could answer that, Deviant. Wasn't there, since it's a border shared, wasn't there nuclear weapons before that pointed into Europe? So wasn't that true? I mean, that to me is why the United States is like, okay, you guys back off. We're going to put them in Turkey. Then, it's a chess game. But didn't Soviet Union have missiles pointed towards our allies and us, because we had military in there, before we did the Turkey installment?
Well, we had nuclear warheads pointed at them too,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Big Bad Mama.
It was the
Yeah.
Cold War.
You talk about like guys like Achilles. He says he doesn't want to laugh anymore because he feels the world's going to end.
That's
He's a
sad.
perfect example of what we were talking
Mhm.
about.
Well, then Gangster, he needs to stop laughing and go pout in the corner.
I mean, I expect he was kind of more of a fun-loving person at some point until he started obsessing about this doomsday stuff.
Yeah.
And he's a huge follower of Ken Hovind. And I can see the depression in that individual. And I don't like it, because I actually like the guy. I think he's funny, and I don't agree with anything he has to say, but I just think he's probably a decent guy. And if I met him, I'd get along with him fine. But I can see that that's created this depression in him because he's distanced himself from people and he's even admitted it. And how can that be a good thing?
Do you think it's because you get that STD demon?
Could be.
Well, that's possible, Logan. That's possible.
We think that Father Charles.
It could be, man. That could be what's happening with him.
Do you need to do an exorcism on him?
I might have to, Logan.
Oh. Dan could be your assistant.
Oh, I stay away from that.
Father Charles, Kent called you a Catholic last night. Did you hear it?
No, I didn't. What did he say about me?
Oh, he said that Claude was going to debate on your channel, Father Charles, the Catholic priest.
Whatever.
I know. I'm just telling you
Right.
because it's kind of funny because that's happened before, I think.
Yeah, he's brought out rosary beads and everything else.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah, that was rude.
He came from a monk era, amoeba.
What?
That's from my video.
Yeah. You want to watch it? I could share it.
Sure.
Yeah.
We need a laugh.
Yeah, we do. At my
Sure,
expense.
sure.
Go ahead.
Science guy, and he believes he came from a monk era, amoeba. Aaron Ra thinks he's a god, the sun god. Yeah, had his name changed, he says, and everything. And he spent a whole lot of time getting some BS from some university. Anyway, you ever get confused in life? You just go out there and run around the field banging around, with the ball. You need to get baby Christians, get new Christians and the mature Christians. Teach them something. A lot of times I was in all black neighborhoods, a lot of poverty-stricken people in there, and I'd hold Bible studies. And boy, the kids would gather around. I'd do magic tricks, and nothing's changed. They still spread rumors around. Oh, that there's a pedophile there at DAL. No, there's not. Never have had one spend the night. I've had a couple come visit. Say, look, thank you so much. 30 years ago, they had something in their past. We let them come for once in the daytime, give them the tour. They need the gospel like everybody else, but we don't let them spend the night here. There's no pedophiles here. Hey, if Bill Nye is a science guy and he believes he came from
Thank
a
you,
monk
Logan.
Oh, want me to go?
Does anyone have the clip when Hovind whipped out the rosary beads on me?
No.
Okay.
Is that the one, Hail Mary full of grapes?
Yeah, that's,
Oh,
it.
great.
That's the one, bro. Yeah. A couple years ago.
Right. I think if anyone has that, it's probably Atheist Junior on his channel somewhere. But I'll make some inquiries and check it out.
Which
It's
one?
hysterical.
He talked about Father Charles and
Oh, so it would be well, look at the live. Go to live, Logan. Scroll down. Okay. Oh no, it would be on the Doc Dino channel. Sorry, Logan.
Doc Dino.
2 words, Doc Dino.
Doc.
See if it comes up. Put a space between the Doc and the Dino. Now that should come up. There it is. Now, I think look at Crybaby's his thumbnail.
Which one?
So it'd be the very last one. The very first one, I mean. I'm sorry.
This one?
Logan.
No,
Yeah.
Like an atheist?
no, but you go
Yeah.
to videos or lives, depending on if it's a live or a video.
Oh, that was the video though.
Oh,
Oh, it was, okay.
like-
Because those who show up on the first page isn't always the latest.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, let's
Unlike
see.
you, Hogan, Dr. Noor is a real.
Okay, so it would be where he first starts taking questions. There's Claude. Okay, so go right before that.
Okay.
And we'll just watch it. Okay, so let's just play that. I think
Cliff,
it'll go into
okay.
Claude's
You can
question.
buy them for about $20 a piece. He shows pictures of the skeletons. The purpose of the lesson is pay attention to Daddy. Daddy advised, don't go down the cliff, don't go down the hill. But I said, how many of you want to go anyway? And over half the people say, yeah, let's go. And so we drive up to the edge and I stop and we get out and we look. That's what happens when you don't listen to daddy. Okay, are you listening? They're plastic. Calm down. Okay, calm down. It's okay. You can buy them online, right?
That's not the
Okay.
issue.
Can't have a bad back requiring daily massages and a hot tub after all. The first place, Claude. I'm going to debate him soon, tomorrow. Tomorrow noon. Claude and I are going to have a debate. And I said carefully to the host, Father Charles, the fat Catholic guy, I said it's on creation evolution. If he goes off topic, which he wants to do badly, anything to be an insult, I will simply shut off and leave. Okay?
I'm not fat.
You want to talk about evolution, Claude?
Okay, Logan, I think that's enough of that.
Yeah. I sent,
Father Charles, the Catholic guy.
I sent that link they sent me to Claude now.
Yeah, well, Ken Hovind changed the whole thing around, so Claude had no...
it was confusing. He changed the way it would go.
Yeah, completely. So
I left
who
it alone.
cares? I mean,
Where did
it's
Dan go?
Kent's making all these rules.
Yeah.
The only sad thing is that he will count it as a win.
Yeah, of
But-
course. He's gonna
But,
count
on the other
it
hand-
as a win.
On the other
you
hand,
know,
he
but
would do that either way, I have a feeling.
he does it to every debate.
Yeah. It's caca.
But
Caca in the
Claude
head.
got a really funny comment in there about getting massages all the time, which I'm just really surprised that Kent reads some of these comments because why does he get into this stuff? I mean, why does he talk about child molesters and stuff? Why doesn't he just drop the subject, at least from himself, at least him
But
bringing it up?
suits his victim persecution complex.
But it makes him look really bad at the same time because then people want to think what's going on over there. And if they do the least amount of research, they see what actually happened there. And
Yeah, I don't think he
I don't
has
know. I just
the-
think it makes him look bad.
Yeah, but I don't think he really has the full self-awareness to consider that it could actually. It's like everything out of his mouth is gold, and everyone who has even 2 brain cells knows to listen to him and know that he is right. So if he then first ridicules people, so everyone knows that they are caca, and then he tells all this. Oh, and the Ra who thinks he's the sun god, and Father Charles is a cat. Okay, I don't think. I think that's just his obnoxious ways. He's painting a narrative that makes sense in his own head. I don't think he for a second believes that he could say something or do something that would make him look bad. Other people, though, could.
Okay. So you think he's just, if somebody says something, he instantly responds to it without kind of
Yes.
thinking how it might make him look.
Yes.
He's too focused on addressing the issue and denying it
Yes.
instead of actually looking at the big picture on
Yes.
how does this make him look as, you know,
Because if
a
he
pastor,
exactly,
basically.
because if he answers to it, then, as I said, every word, I mean, he probably shits gold in his mind. So
Amen to that, David.
how does that image exactly work?
well, it follows.
He's talking out his ass, is what you're saying.
Yep.
Tico, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, so as long that's why it bothers him when he feels he doesn't get the opportunity to to counter what someone else has said, that bothers him really deeply. Because if he only could say whatever it is, that would fix it. Because that's how brilliant he thinks he is, and how much authority that's in him. And all these people who don't see his golden lumps, that's because they are mentally insane and degraded people who frankly aren't worthy of anything.
Well, for
I
Charles.
mean, he's always been this. Oh, sorry, Logan.
Oh,
go
sorry.
ahead.
Are you the you should call your show Father Charles the Catholic guy?
That's what I was thinking.
Oh,
Logan.
sorry.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Go ahead. Sorry.
That would freak out a lot of people.
Yeah.
Since when did he become a Catholic? I was going to say that Kent has always been this way, and it's been successful for him.
Yep.
Because his followers do believe him, and his denial isn't all that they need. And I don't know about now, but it never stopped the donations from coming through. And he's been able to, for 70 plus years, well, he hasn't always had a ministry, but
No.
for, whatever, 50 years, he's been able to operate like this and make a very good living at it.
Yep.
Which, in a nefarious way is kind of impressive.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Most horrible people are really good at being horrible.
Oh.
You're right.
That's how they that's how they maneuver through life. And I mean, in Hoven's case, I think he had the most of his success that he's still kind of milking, whether actively or just by. He once made a name for himself, and therefore there are still people following him. And I think it was easier if he would have come out now, like not at this age, but if he had started his ministry in this era rather than when he did, I think he would have had to. He couldn't be, like 50 years from now, he couldn't be the person he is.
No, of course
currently.
not.
Because
there won't even be probably too many creationists at that point, I wouldn't imagine. Literal creationists, I'm saying.
no,
Hopefully Kent's
Hopefully
life would have been like if he never went to prison.
Oh, I think he'd be quite a bit larger than. Yeah, I mean, he was big then. He was pulling in 1 to 2 million or more a year. And I think if that hadn't been, that money supply hadn't stopped, he maybe would be on the level of Ken Ham. I'm not for certain.
I can see.
I'm not sure about that, Logan. That's a very good question.
I can see two. Sorry.
Oh, that's right. You go ahead.
Okay. Two develop or ways it could develop, and it's kind of annoying because it's being asked a yes or no question, and you answer yes and no.
Oh.
But because I can definitely see what Big Bad Mama said, that he would had the ability to really grow and become even worse than he is. But I can also see another development that, because he was involved in this tax fraud thing. He was also involved in going to someone's home and threatening them, and so he wasn't really careful. And the thing with people like Kent, they, and I'm speaking about dark triad people, they're the less they have to pay for what they have done. So if they are not held to accountability, they're always going to become worse. But when they're not held to accountability, they start to, this whole idea about they are on top and everyone else is, in every single way of the word, lower than them. And more, they are stupid, they are incompetent, all of those things. Easy to manipulate. The thing with dark triad people is that they are very, very lazy. They are extremely lazy, which means they don't like to have to make an effort to fool people. They become complacent. So there is good chance, my point is, that he would have
taken over the world.
No, more the other way.
The world
Gone
taken
to
over.
several prison. That he would have been caught with something else,
doing something else later.
Yeah, something worse.
That's hard to say, though.
Yeah,
But wait,
exactly.
I got a real biggie here. Do you ever notice that Kent parts his hair the same side women do?
I object to that because he doesn't part it the way I part mine, because I change which side I parted on and how I parted it.
I can see your statue right now, Deviant. It looks like you're parting your hair on the same side as Kent did.
Oh, but I have a Nemes on me. I have a Nemes headdress. That's not my hair.
I think it's your hair.
No, it's a headdress. It's a Nemes headdress.
When I was down DAL, I did joke with Ken. I said, Ken, if you're going to make these jokes about homosexuals, you better start parting your hair the right way. He just looked at me.
Oh my God. Did you say that to him?
I
did. You know, awesome. Kent chose a perfect topic for his ministry with the evolution creation topic and dinosaurs, because that would appeal to kids.
Yep.
And he was in such a time in history when he could do that and make a good living at it. Wouldn't you agree with that, Deviant?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yes.
And as you said, I think, you know, if he was a young man today and tried to start that religion, well, of course, a lot of other people are doing creation evolution. So he wouldn't have name recognition.
No.
And also in time, there's just going to be less creationists. You know, maybe this is just a hope of mine, but I just think that Bible literalism is going to die off at some point, and it's going to be treated as a mythology. And I don't think that's a bad thing, because I think in many cases, Christians can get more out of a mythological meaning of a religious book than a literal interpretation.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. Though I also think, because the uptick of creationism, which is totally a US thing, and that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist in other countries, but it's a US thing.
Oh.
It's quite new. It's only
Right.
like 70 years. So there is the possibility that we will see it because I can't say if it's that I have more eyes towards the US and we have a completely, I mean, the availability of information is magnificent. Because I feel that 20 years ago, 25 years ago, it wasn't as usual as it is now. And as I said, the caveat there is it can 100% be a bias of mine because I myself am more invested in it now than I was 25 years ago. 25 years ago, I didn't know about it at all.
Miss Outcast, I heard from Aaron Wall that most of the creationists in the world are Muslims and Hindus, but most of the evolutionists are Christians and Jewish people. Is that true, Big Memo?
Oh,
I have
can you
no idea.
repeat that one more time, Logan? So you're saying, yeah, go ahead.
Aaron Wall said before that most of the creationists are Hindus and Muslims, and most of the evolutionists are Christians and Hindu and Jewish people, I think.
Oh gosh, I agree with part of that. I mean, I know there's a lot of Muslim creationists, but there are a lot of Christian creationists, and it's almost apples and oranges to compare Hindu creation with biblical creation. I mean, Hindu creation is much more complex. And correct me if I'm wrong here, Deviant, or even Father Charles, if you have knowledge of the subject. But I mean, they're talking about manifestations and energy, and it's not, and
totally
myths that are meant to be myths, as opposed to myths that are looked at as literal historic events.
Right.
So
exactly.
I don't know about that.
No, I agree with you, Vivian.
And
I think
Hinduism is probably the oldest religion, one of the oldest in the world.
it's the oldest that's still an active religion.
Exactly. That's what I meant to say. Exactly.
Mhm.
Neanderthalism was probably older. It was a
Probably.
religion
Yes,
of
yes.
the Neanderthals.
Are you going to join that religion, Big Memo?
I'd love it. I love it if somebody could discover it, But I mean, didn't they have holy burials that where they would bury
Yeah.
bodies with items from that
Yeah.
person's life,
Yeah.
totems,
Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
different things that showed that they thought there was something
An
after
afterlife.
death,
Yeah.
or right.
Mhm.
Yep.
It's definitely how I would think religion started as something like that. Maybe even earlier than Neanderthals. I don't know about Homo erectus.
I wouldn't say that religion started that way. Religion, I would say, started rather with the need that humans have because of who we are as and the limitations of our being.
Right. Explain natural processes.
Exactly, and have the ability to control an environment that is extremely dangerous.
Well, I agree. We agree on a lot of things, but that's where we'd have to part ways. Anyway.
About
why we believe in God.
no, I didn't say it's why you believe in God, but how religions started, how the concept, where did it enter into humanity?
I mean, it had to have been the sun and moon as the original
Forces.
forces to worship, I would imagine.
Yeah,
And
and
I can completely understand sun, worship.
Like, do you
yeah,
think that
and
priest
more
had? Oh, sorry.
more than that, the powers of nature, like wind and water, that have the ability to destroy people, basically.
Right. The
Uh,
ocean.
yeah, and then you have like the sun that is that we are dependent on. Of course, all living life is. Um, so
Seasons.
seasons in the sun.
We had joy, we had fun,
We
We
had
had
seasons
seasons in
in
the
the sun.
sun.
Do you think that
That's
priest is
all
the
that
sun?
I know. Sorry.
that the
Oh,
seasons
sorry.
have
You
all
see-
gone. Da, da,
Do
da,
you
da.
think that priest who was staring at the sun is a sun worshiper?
I don't know, Logan. Did you guys hear this story? Logan was somewhere like in Minneapolis and he saw this priest
Yeah.
holding a Bible staring up at the sun
It
for a
had to
long
be a
time.
Catholic priest, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Some Catholic guy.
I think he's really a sun worshiper.
What? Wait.
Fair.
Who? What? I missed the beginning of. Someone saw a guy with the Bible staring at the sun.
Logan did.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. In real life.
Yeah.
In real life.
Oh. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was probably a sun worshipper.
Yeah.
Or Sun Tzu.
Oh. Do you think Aaron Ra is the sun god?
No, and neither does Aaron Ra.
Oh. What if it turns out he is a sun god and he just didn't know he's a sun god?
I would think that you would know that because you would be significantly more warm than the average person, and also most of your surrounding environment, including your loved ones, would be burned to a crisp.
Oh no.
But on the other hand, I'm not a sun god, so what do I know? Or maybe I am and don't know it. Who knows?
No.
I don't know.
Can I ask a question here? And you guys know like the history of religion, but where did the idea of a Satan type of figure come from Zoroastrianism or
I mean,
okay.
not okay. It has several points of
several foundations.
yeah, but one of the main one that there are two that the top of the spiritual pyramid is dichotomous pairing.
Excuse me, Wesley is here. Can we
yeah,
can we clear the
yes,
queue? And Wesley, you're welcome to come on anytime and we'll start to talk.
I will jump.
We'll talk to you later, Deviant and Father Charles.
Yeah. Bye for now.
Logan, do you have some background noise?
Oh, sorry. My fan.
Thank you. Yes, we're live, Wesley. Whenever you want to come on, please. There's the link. We'll start the show from the beginning, Logan. I'll go ahead if Wesley comes in, which I hope he does. Anybody backstage? Wesley, are you going to come in?
Come in,
Please.
come on, Wes. The man of the hour.
How do you do? One moment.
Hi, Wesley.
One moment. You okay?
Yeah. How are
I'm
you?
okay.
Let me start with a intro, and then we'll get to talking if that's okay with you. So this is Big Bad Mama streaming from the Gangster Ghost channel, and we're here today to talk with Wesley Curry II. Wesley's a very talented musician, composer, filmmaker, and painter. Today we're going to try to talk about some of his history, his art and music, his influences, and his current projects. Wesley, how are you doing?
I'm okay. Yeah, I just woke up and excuse my teeth. I look like somebody that's moonshining in a hollow in West Virginia. I do live in West Virginia. I didn't take care of my teeth when I was a very rotten person in my life. So, but I'm getting some dentures in the next month. So, if you'll forgive the appearance.
You look fine.
Yeah,
Thank you for
I
joining
have
us.
a real Hollywood smile. I'd show it to you, but I'd look like a vampire Bugs Bunny. So, just
Wesley, do you mind if we talk a little about your background? And I did a little bit of research, and I know you were raised in a very artistic family. Is that something we can talk about? I know your
yeah,
mother was a very interesting person.
sure. I'm an open book. Yeah, yeah. My mother was a degreed artist, and she would have art schools wherever we would go to. Dad would build her a studio, and there'd be rows of art tables and easels, and she would teach junior high, high school, and young adults and adults art classes throughout the week. Every week, we would have our house filled with people, or this mom's studio with people that she would teach them painting and printmaking, watercolor, oil, and things like that. So I was raised in that. And I studied architecture at first, and then I decided I wanted to be a piano player instead. I was fortunate to get piano lessons from a very early age. And let's see what happened. When I got out of school, I went into a business called exhibit design, which is if you go to a trade show where there's an auto show or a hardware
Right.
show or a food show, there are 10-foot, 20-foot, 40-foot by 40-foot exhibits that the companies purchase to show their products. So I went into the business of designing those and was in that business for many, many years.
Right, for 15 years,
Yeah,
right?
for quite a long time. And I kept at the piano. See, Mark Stoney can see my tooth. I actually have 2 teeth, so you may call me Vampire Bugs Bunny if you want. I'll show them to you. There they are. So I was in that business, and then I wanted to play the piano, and so I began rehearsing again. And I started that. What's that thing that happens to us white, self-empowered people? You know, we think we rule the world, and nothing wrong can happen to us. I got sadly involved in the evil of drugs, and I was making a lot of money, a very good, wealthy living, but I was spending it all on drugs, and it was very, very bad. So I lost my job. Eventually, the boss, after 3 years, just got tired of me and said, we can't do this. We're gonna have to let you go. So I never.
It seems like you continued to do your music
That's,
and your art, though, during this
yeah,
period.
that's
I
that's
mean,
what happened.
I know you had some success with your painting in the early 90s.
Yeah, I had a major success. There was the oldest art gallery in Chicago called Wally Findlay, which was the oldest, most conservative art gallery in Chicago. At the Drake Hotel they are. And they loved my paintings. At the time, I was going to courtrooms and sketching, doing courtroom sketches, trying to get into that business. And I had done some very high profile cases with Michael Jordan and, those kinds of legal cases where the guy draws the cartoon, the sketch, and they show them,
Right.
they're doing that now. It's a very common thing. So it got me a lot of notoriety, and the gallery liked that. And they told me they would sell my paintings for $5,000 a piece. And they would keep 2/3. I would get 1/3. And I literally took a wet painting, an oil painting, down right the day it was finished. It was oiled, it was still wet. If you touched it, you would be stained. And they said, "Yeah, we love this. This is what we want, and we would like to have 5 of
They
these."
were kind of abstract, right, Wesley?
No, they were very realistic, very on
Oh,
plein
okay.
air. Uh,
Oh, right.
and but I was not right in the head in those days, just really not right. I succumbed to using drugs. I wanted my drugs every day, and nothing else really mattered. And so, I ended up selling the painting to a friend of mine for like $25 so I could buy drugs. And I passed up on the art gallery opening that had been offered. That's how stupid drugs can be to a person, and that's how stupid I was from them. So I went into I continued to paint portraits and draw portraits, and began practicing piano again, and got jobs in pizza parlors, just playing, just rowdy, bawdy, upbeat, uplifting music. And I got word that a person had left their job in Second City as music director and that the position was open. So I went down and auditioned at Second City. Are you familiar with what Second City in Chicago is?
Yeah. So Second City is a comedy troupe that's been around, I think, since the
Yeah.
1950s. And so many famous alumni have been from there, including, Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi, several others that went on to Saturday Night Live. But I think you might have been there in the period of like maybe Tina Fey or
Yes. And Horatio,
Rachel
yes,
Dratch era.
Horatio Sanz, the let's see, who's I can't remember some of the names, but yeah, I worked with Horatio Sanz and with Neil Finn, who was in Malcolm in the Middle. I worked with Chris Farley's brother, who was there. I worked with Neil Adsit, who went on to become a writer and for the Drew Perry the comedy TV show. The people that I ended up working with didn't go on so much to Saturday Night Live as they were writers for David Letterman or writers for Conan O'Brien. And
Was Adam McKay one of the people?
Adam McKay was there at the time, and he is huge.
Okay. Of course, he went on to direct Anchorman and a lot of the Will Ferrell, very successful director later. And I'm saying Anchorman, but there were a whole bunch of other
it's
films.
incredible the works that he's done. He did that one with where they sort of the vice president of the United States with the guy that played Batman. But anyway, that's what I did for a season. And then after that, for the next decade, I was nothing but a homeless, crack smoking caricature artist. I would go to the fanciest restaurants in town. I would sit outside the window. I would draw a caricature. I would show it through the window, and people would go, "Wow, I like that. How much do you want for it?" And I go, I 0 to 20, whatever you can afford. And in the city, $20 bills are candy bars to the people that are at a table where they're spending $1,500 for dinner. So, $20 was nothing to them. So, but to me, I draw 5 caricatures inside of a couple of hours and I've got $100 cash, So I would just run over to the projects and grab my crack and smoke it in an alley and then be an idiot, an absolutely stupid psycho, and then I'd go back and draw more, and I did that every day, homeless every day for like 15 years. It was just horrible. It was
Wow.
evil.
That's so interesting that
Very
you do. Yeah. I mean, I'm, it's interesting though, how you excel in improvisation in music, but you also caricatures are similar to improvisation in music. I mean, because you have to draw right on the spot somebody. So that's interesting that you have done both of those things, even though, of course, you did it because you were having a hard time and you needed quick cash.
Well, I made it hard. I made it difficult. Using drugs just made life hell. It kills. It killed my relationship. It made me not really care about anybody or anything other than myself, and it was terrible. So I was literally living on the streets in Chicago for 15 years. I lost 15 years of my life doing nothing but drawing characters and smoking crack, and it was evil. It was bad. So one night, here, let me show you a picture, okay? Let me see if I can get this picture up. I don't know if it's gonna. Can you put me
You
on?
see the moon behind
Can
you.
you put me on full screen?
Logan, are you able to do that? Full screen? That's cool,
Hold on.
Wesley. I
Let
mean,
me get it. Let me do this. One moment. That's the inverted one. Some of these shows.
that's probably pretty good, Logan. I mean, we can see it pretty well there. That's a cool background.
One moment. Let's see if this will work or not. Hold on. There we go. Let me scoot out of the way. So one night I'm asleep, literally across the street from Second City, and I have a dream. And I see that in a dream. And this was back in 2003 in November. And I saw that in a dream. I saw those palm trees with orange red in the bottom leaves. I saw the straight trees over there. And I saw these two little creatures and a leg with a fashionable dirty black shoe and a white sock. And this creature cuts the foot off on the first circle saw. And the circle saws are in a crooked path. And they're all parallel to each other. And they're all spinning. In front of them was a square hole, and there was a river, and there was no wind on it. There seemed to be a ripple in the middle of the water. There was green grass with tufts of grass all over the place. So I saw that dream, and Jesus also.
Were you asleep or awake at the time?
Oh, I was asleep.
Okay, this is a dream.
I was
Yes.
asleep in an alley underneath a trash can across the street from Second City.
Right.
Yeah, and I woke up and I knew immediately. I knew as soon as I saw that this is from Jesus. There's no doubt about it. This dream is from Jesus Christ. What the heck? What? So I went across the street to Starbucks at North and Wells and poured my milk, and the milk made a shape like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 circles in a perfect pattern, a perfectly bisometric pattern. I looked at it like, you can't pour milk. You can't accidentally spill a glob of milk and it makes a perfect pattern. This is a sign from Jesus. There's just no doubt about it. So I began telling that dream from that day. And a few months later, I would be shown my soul by Jesus. He showed me my soul. In those days, I claimed that I'm washed in his blood. I'm saved. I'm baptized. I believe he is God. I say it with my lips. I believe it in my heart. But the fact of the matter was, I was saying it with my lips. I was saying, when I would say, I believe in Jesus in my heart, It was all lips. There was no heart in it. It was just for show. And my soul, my inward way, my mansion, my foundation was dead ashes. It was dead gray. The color was not even a living gray color. It was a dead gray color. And it was ashes like on barbed wire. I couldn't see my head, but I could see everything from here down. And it was all dead ashes that were wet. They were saturated with a clear, clean oil. Now, in the belly area, it was clean. It was white, snow white. It was as white as snow. And it was a pearl of great wealth. It was like right here was a pearl as big as a volleyball or a bowling ball. And that pearl of light is the mystery of the Holy Spirit. That pearl of light is the Holy Spirit of Jesus Christ. So that's what Jesus gave to me to keep me alive, was that Holy Spirit. If that Holy Spirit were removed from my ashen soul, I would die. I would not be able to live.
So this changed your life in a big way and your perspective, it sounds like.
Yeah, I came to later I learned that those ashes didn't happen just like that overnight. It happened a flake at a time. When I would do a sin and not repent, not do the baptism of repentance, repentance means you don't do it again. But when I would do it again, that means that I didn't really believe in the baptism. I just did it for show, did it for lip service, not from the heart. So if I would sin again, every time I sinned, a little piece of my soul would become an ash flake. And over the years, that accumulated until I was dead ashes from head to toe. Now, how am I able to stand up with a dead soul of weak, powerless ashes? Well, Jesus does give everyone his forgiveness, his grace, his love. And that is in the form of a skin, a hedge that holds up the body of the spirit. Like we have skin in our flesh that holds up our muscles and our bones, and our blood vessels and our organs is held together and held up by the skin. There's a hedge. The hedge is also known as the forgiveness of Jesus Christ. And even though I was weak and unable to stand up against gravity itself from being so filthy inside, Jesus gives me his forgiveness. And that's the hedge which holds up my soul. Now, the forgiveness and the washing of the soul are two different things. They are not the same thing. Jesus forgives everyone, no matter who they are, no matter what they say, no matter what they believe. His forgiveness, his grace is greater than ours is. But the washing of the soul is another thing. That requires some acts. That requires some heart. And the washing of the soul, remember I told you that picture of that valley? That's what that pearl of light is. Now, when did I get that pearl of light? I got that pearl of light the night Jesus returned in the clouds with his angels and said, "It is time." And he poured of his spirit on all flesh. The old men began having dreams. The young men began seeing visions. And he put that pearl of light in my belly at that time. And that Holy Spirit that kept me alive. And that's when I started having the vision. And when you tell the vision, for God is the Word is God, you tell that vision, that pearl of light, that word of Jesus Christ magnifies and starts to restore the soul. And it restores it, and it turns the ashes into baptized light. When that light gets up, when I told the vision enough, it got up to my chest. So I had a breastplate of righteousness. It's a real thing. And what it is when the soul is clean and white up in the chest, you have a breastplate of righteousness. It's clean in the chest. when you're baptized all the way to the top of your head, you get a helmet of salvation. When the ashes in your mind, in your spiritual body, become light. So that's where the helmet of salvation comes from. And only
Wesley, can I ask you a question about that?
Sure.
So I watched your short film, which was excellent, by the way, called The Four-Handed Part.
you.
And it seems a lot of what you're describing there. I mean, that's a really autobiographical film.
Very.
It's about a guy who has a drug overdose and then either has and I'm not sure, maybe you could clarify this, but has either a near-death experience or a resurrection type.
Right.
And afterwards becomes really like a creative, their creativity is renewed. And the person is kind of a reclusive musician that's results from this. Is that correct?
Yes. I'm also seeing Robin Webster's asking, did he stop smoking crack cold turkey? No, I did not. It would be about 3 years after that, 3 or 4 years after that, that I finally quit the crack cocaine. From the time I had the vision and I began telling it, as I told it, that pearl of light started restoring my soul. Jesus let it restore my soul and magnified his word. And, I would tell it to 40, 50, 100 people every day on the streets. So eventually it made me strong inside, where I was no longer conflicted with the desire for pleasure over Jesus. So I eventually did quit the crack cocaine completely. It's been 14 years now, and I never looked back. So that answers that question. I don't do drugs anymore, and I don't drink liquor. I never really was a big drinker. So
when did you move back to, or when did you move out of Chicago to West Virginia?
I moved to West Virginia about 7 years ago now, in November of 2017. I had been, because of my Second City work, when you work at Second City and you go for a job, it's a big plus on your resume. It's huge. You pretty much don't even have to write out a resume to get the jobs. If you worked at Second City, it says you're a pro.
Right.
And you made it. You got through all the problems and the details and the difficulties of making it big. You made it. So it says something for you. So I got a contract to score a feature film with Tom Arnold, with Betsy Brandt from Breaking Bad, with Louis D'Amour from Sopranos, with some people that were in like Water for Chocolate, were in 3 Billboards for Reading, were in movies like Trump or Trudeau or Trumbo, some big time actors. So I did the music for it. I wrote
Landline, right?
That's the movie. I won't say it was good or bad. But I made a lot of money, and I took the money, and I wanted to so I moved to West Virginia with that money, and I've been here for about 7 years now.
It seems like it's been a good move for you.
I miss.
very,
very much. I miss the activity. I miss being able to go to the symphony. I miss being able to go to the museums. I miss the friends that I did have there. I loved going to a coffee shop on a cold, wet, rainy day and hunkering in a corner with a laptop and typing a script. I loved doing that kind of thing.
Who can I ask you who some of your musical influences were, whether they be classical or popular music?
Sure. Pat Metheny group and La Maze. Huge influence.
Right.
I listened to that
great guitar
all
player.
the time. I listen to that all the time. Dave Brubeck, Johann Sebastian Bach, Rachmaninoff, Beethoven. There's a couple of new artists. I like Knower. Do you know about Knower yet? Knower.
No. How do you spell it again?
Knower. Knower.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're one of those groups that made it big on YouTube, and they're making their living without the contract with the record company. They're doing it on their own, and they're doing very well.
Nice. I heard the Rachmaninoff influence. In fact, I was going to say that in your the improvisation that I listened to, it was kind of a long improvisation, and I kind of heard like a Rachmaninoff piano concerto in there, an influence.
Yes, yeah. I still cry when I listen to his piano concerto, the one all by myself. I still tear up when I hear it.
Oh, that's number 2. Yeah, that's the one that Eric Carmen took he borrowed some music from it, I guess, right?
I think so. Yes, it was a direct, highly derivative is an understatement.
Right. It was a hit.
Yeah.
That's all that
Yeah.
matters. What about your, I've noticed some of your recent work is more, or in terms of like your paintings or your drawings, is more abstract than maybe your old work. And were you influenced by abstract artists like Kandinsky or some other abstract artists?
I was influenced by Bruno Cerdo, who was a realist, Trump loyal painter in Chicago, who had he ran a school of his own. And there was a place called the Palette and Chisel in Chicago, which was a school begun by the art students of Chicago back in the 1800s. They wanted to paint nudes, but they wouldn't allow the nudes to be in the studios at the Art Institute school. So they started they bought a house and they started their own, so they could have naked ladies and guys standing up on a stage and paint them. And it's called the Palette and Chisel, and it exists to this day. Even in Chicago, you could go to that school and they would have an open studio on like Thursday nights and Tuesday nights where you would just pay them $5 or $15. And you get to go into a 3-hour session with a nude model and, 20 other artists all surrounding the stage making artwork of the thing. So that was very influential upon me. The thing that I really started doing most recently is this. This is, can you see that guy there?
Yeah.
That's what my soul looked like. I like realism, and my mother was an abstract artist, but I prefer realism. So I tried to paint a message that, that's what my soul looked like, that pearl of light in the belly, and the rest of it was just like a bad Giacometti sculpture, if you know who Giacometti was.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. Extended, like really skinny, extended limbs. And is this your Yelling Man series?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
So it's self-portraits, and I've taken a note here describing the soul and the Holy Spirit while trying to describe the world.
Huh.
I think I read that.
That's true. That's what I'm trying to do. And I'm trying to do it without blaming and accusing, but I believe that it's something that touches upon all flesh. I believe it's a similar reality for everyone. And I mean everyone, that everyone's soul that everyone has been shown their soul by Jesus, not just me. And that no one has confessed it, but I confess what mine looked like in hopes that will help them understand it and not be afraid to come forward and try to repair it.
Can we talk a little bit more about the four-handed part? Because it's such an interesting film.
Sure. Did you see the
I would
scene
just like,
where he's like this at a wall and there's nothing but snakes on the ground?
oh yeah. So it looks like you had like it was being shot in a group of garter snakes and stuff. It was no, the imagery in that film was great, and I really liked the ending where the people were instead of their heads were these scenes or objects that were represented their, I guess, consciousness or what have you. I'm not sure, but I'll let you talk about it some
Sure.
because
Well,
I think everybody should watch that.
it's a vanity project, and I'm not much of a writer. I'm more of a surrealistic artist, so I did that in film. The film starts off with Santa Claus smoking crack and having an OD and dying and going up to heaven. And then on his way to heaven, he stopped and he says he's told he has to go back, and but he goes back and he's suddenly in a palatial mansion and a world famous concert pianist with women throwing their underwear at him, and there's it's like I said, very vain of me to do, sort of a kind of a wretched humor about it. And then he starts being he goes into a dream state where music enters his ears, and there's a little music puppet that sort of chases him, and it chases him to a wall where the wall has the number 665 on them, and he's blocked. He can't go any further. That's it, and the whole world under his feet is nothing but snakes. And his head is a cube, a block, a stumbling block that is showing nothing but lightning and fierce storming. And there's a wall that goes as far in one direction as it does in the other direction, and it goes up far too far for him to be able to overcome. So then it goes, and then we have the rest of the world. So I talked people in the city of here in Huntington to wearing a green screen cube. I had a green screen block made out of cardboard, and a cardboard block that would fit on their head and had a little band inside, so it would they could move around and it would still be a head. And so I talked people into putting it on and just standing there or doing their whatever they were doing that day. And then I would ask them, what is something that what's your dream in life? What would you want to be doing right now? What kind of thing? What's the grand scheme for you? And someone would say, I want to be a farmer in Montana. Another person would say, something to do with the galaxy and the stars. Another would say, a rocket ship. I want to be an astronaut taking off in a rocket ship. Another person would say something to do with dolphins jumping out of the water. So I would film them with a static camera, just doing what they were doing that day at a restaurant or in a parking lot or in a bookstore or at a coffee shop. And then I would put their idea onto the green screen. It was kind of funny. The one with the most boring idea was the only one there with a real job. She was a girl typing, and she worked as a secretary, and her only thoughts were, thank God it's Friday, So I put a wild rave from her. So that's what that part is all about. Just showing what people's what their daydreams are. What it is that they would rather be doing at that time. There was one guy who was making pizzas in a pizza parlor, and he's standing like this, and he wanted Care Bears. So it was hilarious. And so I put Care Bears on the green screen, and that's what that was all about. Just sort of stream of consciousness, tangential, an LSD trip without the LSD.
What sort of attention did that film get?
That film managed to be shown in a film festival in London, in an art gallery. I think they called it Gallery 37 or something like that. It's been
That's
4
cool.
years ago. So it got shown there. I did enter it into some other film festivals and paid the initiation prices and everything, but it didn't get accepted into any others. It was done with a camera with only 12 megapixels in the sensor, so it wasn't really up to standard. It was done.
It looks good on YouTube.
Yeah, it's okay on YouTube. and it's fun. It was my first experience making film. There was a lot of details. It took a lot of time to make that little 10-minute film.
What program were you using?
I used Final Cut Pro X. I used Final Cut Pro X.
Okay. And your work, it sounds like you're working on a film right now, a musical project.
That's sort of, until I get a decent camera, I want to work on a musical. That's my idea, and I'm going to keep working in that direction. I haven't made any big strides for it, and I'm considering that rather than go through the pure headache of getting people together and trying to get something like that done, and it takes a lot of know-how and a lot of administration work. I'm building a stop motion stage. It's about 3.5 feet by 8 foot stage, where I'm building a stop motion set that I can do the musical using stop motion animation rather than live people. That way I can do wilder special effects.
Anything you want.
Exactly. And I can film when I want and what I want. And if I want to have a creepy old mansion that's in a weird shape or something like Dr. Seuss, or if I want to do something normal, it doesn't matter. I've whatever my ideas are for the visuals, rather than having not having the budget to film them live, which it's an incredible amount of money to do those. I can afford to do it in stop motion. My budget, rather than being $250,000 or $25,000, if I had $1,000 or $2,000, I can get a stop motion picture made.
Cool. That sounds like a great, that'll result in some great projects. You're also doing a lot of composing. How do you do your symphonic music? Because I've seen that you at least have some snippets of symphonies on your channel. I think you're tracking these probably using some sort of a synthesizer or a keyboard. Or
yeah, I bought a $700 Yamaha piano that I can perform with live. It got weighted action, and I've got a very nice 5K screen with an Apple iMac that has 64 gigabytes of RAM. I'm also have a lot of I've got these huge exterior storage drives. They're old school, but they're old school G-Tech. And I have when I got the job scoring landline, I made enough money to buy a symphony orchestra on a hard drive. This is from East West. Some people may know of Albion or Spitfire or Berlin Strings, those that have worked in the mock orchestra business. It's somebody spent a lot of money and a lot of time hiring the finest musicians to play one note at a time and record every one of those notes. Play one note slow, one note quick, one note staccato, one note spiccato, one note legato, loud, soft, medium, all these different velocities, and put all the samples onto this hard drive. So I have virtually every note an orchestra could play available to me, that when I hit a note on my piano here, it goes through and records into my Logic Pro X DAW.
That's interesting.
Really
is your piano plugged in?
It won't play. I've tried performing live with this. The microphone is a condenser mic inside of the iMac, so it's not
okay.
It's really.
Let's try to do that some other time, though, if we can pull that together somehow. I think that would be awesome.
Sure, if you'd like to show a cut from Landline, you're more than well. I can give you a link to it, and you can show that. It's just if I were on a talk show, this would be the cut that they would show, kind of thing.
Yeah, do you want me to, because this will be on the Gangster Ghost channel, but I'll probably go ahead and use it on my channel
Sure.
too. And so maybe I'll with your permission, cut in some snippets from some of your videos.
Please do. Any of them that you choose. If you want to make me look good, if you want to make me look goofy, that's fine with me.
No.
Let's just make it
I like your stuff. So anyway, I guess we'll wrap it up pretty soon. You have a YouTube channel, so I would encourage everybody to go to Wesley Curry II's YouTube channel and subscribe to him. There's a lot of great videos on that channel that range from music to short films to live improvisation pieces. So thanks, Wesley. Let's hope we can do this again soon. And any last thoughts you'd like to share with
Sure.
us?
Yeah, I'm an evil man. I failed Jesus by not believing in his forgiveness. When, if I were to say I'm a Christian, I believe Jesus in my heart. But then if you did something against me and I didn't forgive it, no matter what it is, if I didn't forgive it, then I don't believe in Jesus Christ. So, if you were to say do something, if you were to steal $5 from me, or if you were to snipe at me with a bad word from the side, if I didn't forgive it, no matter what it is, then I fail to believe in Jesus's forgiveness, and that's the way my life has been. Most of the time, when someone would come against me, I didn't want to forgive it. I wanted to get them back. So that's not his forgiveness. So Jesus showed me a foot that is cut off, that does not bleed, in a vision. And it means that I failed Jesus, not believing in his forgiveness. Now, would you, all your viewers, just say, yeah, what do you know? I saw that valley. I saw that green grass in the vision. It means that everybody saw the vision. And what happens when you tell that vision? That pearl of light restores the soul, and it baptizes you. You get the breastplate of righteousness. You get the helmet of salvation. You become clean inside. And then when that cleanliness gets to your tongue and you make a prayer, your prayer is entered into his ears and it is answered. When you ask Jesus to send angels for fish and bread, they will arrive with real fish and real bread, and you won't have to take the mark of the beast, the Omni, and you won't have to eat the dead children that those people are going to buy with their $32,000.
And with that, we'll go ahead and end the stream. Thank you, Wesley, very much. I thought that was a great discussion. I hope you got something out of it too.
It was just nice to be able to speak and not be interrupted.
Good. Well, thank you. Ghost, whenever you're ready, let's go ahead and end the stream. Thank you, everybody, for joining.